What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Through the Portal, the show where we talk about all things Alpha Clash. And we just had a really big week for Alpha Clash. ClashCon just went down in Charlotte, North Carolina. Ridge and I are back and finally recovered from our weekend.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think the team and everyone in attendance is, buzzing right now because it really was just a great time. And, we'll talk about what that looked like in today's episode.
Yeah, we had over 100 people in attendance. We had 66 competitors in the Pro Tour. We were very pleased with both of those numbers. It's a thing where you commit to having an event, and you just have to cross your fingers and hope people show up. And the community definitely showed up. So we were very, very pleased with that. So thank you to everyone who was in attendance for this awesome weekend. Where should we start, Ridge?
Well, first, I think the sponsors, just highlighting them again.
Sure.
We had Josh and Josiah were really pivotal, people and kind of acquiring the sponsors. So we had Graded Guard, and if you don't know what that is, it's like a material yeah, there you go. Goes around slabs. They have them different sizes for different types of graded cards. And then we had House of Cards that was there, which is local game store I think they're in Winston-Salem.
Yeah, and they apparently crushed it. They said they did more sales on that Saturday than they did in their brick and mortar store for the whole day. So that was cool. So there was on that Friday, Saturday, there were definitely some last minute deck builds happening, and people were buying up all their singles and stuff. So that was great.
And they even had snacks and drinks and stuff like that. And I know at one point they're like, we got to hit Costco because we are burning through more than what we thought. So that was really cool.
Yeah, we had Perfect Pack, they make these nice little things for shipping singles or protecting singles. So if you are someone on TCG Player, make sure you check them out. We had Prime, both some hydration drinks and energy drinks. We had Quest Nutrition, who gave us all sorts of snacks. I didn't know how much they sent us. They sent us a pallet of stuff. It was great. And we had who else? We had Yum Donuts. Got some donuts, and they were the best donuts I've ever had in my life. I got them to commit to being a sponsor, obviously not having tried them, and I think I know a good donut, and it might be the best donuts I've ever had.
What was cool about them was it was a mix between a crumble cookie, if anyone has crumble in their area, a franchise, and donuts, and smash.
They were bougie. They were bougie donuts. Yeah, they were super nice, fancy specialty donuts. So that was great. I don't want to forget anyone.
We had ZLCA.
Oh, right. Sorry, the deck boxes. Yeah, showcase deck boxes and ZLCA. ZLCA had pricing for Pro Tour, so they had 16 of their small deck boxes for top 16, slightly bigger one for the top 8, and then our champion got their primo, really nice deck box huge box that has multiple boxes inside of it, play mat fit inside of it. So shout out to them. And then showcase deck boxes, we were just kind of giving those out as raffles and prizes and stuff throughout the weekend from showcase deck boxes. So yeah, thank you to all of our sponsors. It was cool to hear people saying that was something they it was noticeable. They were saying all this free stuff is great. I heard that from multiple people. That made me happy, saying we feel we're being cared for here. There's lots of free stuff. That's cool. So that was great.
I felt just all that stuff really built in the value for just every attendee, whether they were Pro Tour or not. I was always hydrated and fed and all that, because typically at conventions it's none of those things. It's just, hustle mode, but having all that was great.
Yeah, Spartan was there. Not necessarily a sponsor, but Spartan, who is our probably our biggest collector of Alpha Clash, had his own booth where he was buying and selling and trading. And I know it was a good weekend for him. He had his hundreds and hundreds of Alpha Clash graded cards there, and it was cool seeing some players buy their first graded card, which I want more of that. We need more collectors and the people who are just buying their card to have it slabbed and have it be a little trophy or whatever. It was cool seeing some players buy their first ever. I heard that several times throughout the weekend. They bought their first ever PSA graded card, so that was cool.
Yeah, his display was pretty immaculate of Alpha Clash cards and just product in general.
Yeah.
So I think he did pretty well and was having a good time. His booth typically seemed to be pretty busy. And then one of the other things that was like a highlight, we had this like gumball machine.
Oh yeah, that was Josiah. That was apparently a Josiah brainchild, and it was the biggest win of the weekend for everyone involved.
Yeah, well, so what was cool about that, if you didn't hear about this, there was like a big gumball machine, and you would just pay $10 to get your quarter to then put it in and spin, and they would drop out like like an Easter egg, but more round, like a little ball, and you'd pop it open, and inside was a ticket with whatever was written on it, and there was like master sets that were sprinkled throughout. There were basically your value at worst, you were getting 3 booster packs.
Right. Yeah. Worst possible pull was 3 packs for $10, but then I think we gave away 8 master sets.
Just throughout. I mean, I don't even know how many people spun, but it was a lot because we refilled the gumball machine like several times.
Yeah.
And it was just really cool because then people would like get it and they'd go crazy. We had like a line of 20 people lined up ready to go, waiting their turn. Between like rounds or whatever. So it was really cool. Like that whole venue was buzzing the whole time because on Friday we did side events all day, so you could like win a master set by winning the tournament. We did draft, we did Gambit, so our new game mode that we introduced to everyone there. So a new 4-player game mode that really focuses on like portals and portal manipulation in order to be able to target, your opponents. So we'll be releasing kind of like the official rules document on that soon in January, but that was a huge hit. Now, what I loved about Gambit is it reminded me a lot of playing, like Magic and other card games at the kitchen table on a Saturday night with friends, because you would be working, doing whatever, and you would just hear like an uproar from a table and people would go crazy. People are like pointing at each other like they're playing the social game, and it was a lot of fun to watch and see. And I think it is the casual format that people have been waiting for multiplayer in Alpha Clash, and it really is awesome. So our team out in North Carolina, like Josiah and Bob and Quinn, I think Brendan helped. I mean, they built it, and then we brought it there. And what's cool about Gambit is it's going to be a player-driven game mode where over time, the rules document may change based on, big community feedback that they have. So, I think that was just like a smash hit, and it's going to be a really, really good one to just, continue to support.
Yeah. Another thing we didn't touch on was you've probably seen the promo cards that we had for the weekend. That we had the ClashCon stamped Genesis exclusive art just for ClashCon, the double-sided contender, and then we had the Victory Peak ClashCon card. And one way you could get the Victory Peak card was by completing this punch card, and you had to like go do certain side events, including play Gambit, try Gambit out. So that was cool, and that was another fun side quest for people to be trying to achieve over the weekend, was playing those 4 different tasks to get that promo card. And that was a big win as well. And I'm just gonna say I think those are our 2 best promo cards we've ever put out.
Yeah,
I think like those we put out a lot of promo cards. I think they're my 2 favorite. Like those are I don't know which one is which, but they are number 1 and number 2. I would have a hard time having to decide, but they're very good.
They were a big hit, and the playmat that came with it.
And that was great.
Everything was just really high quality, and during the whole convention, I was thinking, man, I hope I get one. Because I didn't save myself any. And ironically, like we had ClashCon merch, so I have like the hoodie on, all the t-shirts sold out, and at the very end of the convention, we had someone come in that I think had seen an ad for ClashCon or something like that, And they Lee from Tavern Brawlers, he was like taking him through demos, and apparently he was having a great time. Well, he came over, he's like, hey, do you have any more t-shirts? Well, there was one left, and I literally was putting the last hoodie and t-shirt, like period, there were none left in my bag, and I was like, yeah, here you go, like here's so I don't have the t-shirts, there was just the one hoodie that was left over, but yeah, it was just so great. The venue size was perfect.
Right.
It wasn't too big, it wasn't too small, people had their elbow room, but like we couldn't have accommodated like too many more people in general comfortably with that venue. So overall was pretty fun. Everyone just ecstatic. Now what was also, we haven't really talked about this, is on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday we did spoilers. So
that was my highlight, was seeing people's, because we always we do these spoiler seasons and we post something and we get some likes and a few comments or whatever on it, but being able to see people in person and they're giving their audible gasps and taking out their phones, like that was the highlight for me, was seeing that happen in real life, because we've done so many spoilers, but I've never actually got to see people react in real time, so that was super cool.
Yeah, the energy in the room was really great on that. So on Friday, I did a presentation on like the past, present, and future of Alpha Clash, and like where did we come from, how did we get this started up until the moment of ClashCon, and then what does 2025 look like. So during that presentation, we did spoilers. So we spoiled the double-sided Clarity Contender. We did the iconic version of that, so we showed that that night. And then did we show another contender that night? I think it was I don't know, but anyways, so we did that, and then we hopped into the timeline for 2025. So what was really cool about that is we announced that in January we have the audiobook coming, because when we did the novel, and then I think it was a stretch goal, we hit the stretch goal, and we said that the audiobook is coming. Well, it takes a long time to get that behind the scenes like going and scheduled and all that. Well, it's in progress. The samples that we've gotten are really good. I'm really excited to listen to the audiobooks. That's coming in January. Then we said Gambit is coming January. Cosmic Conquest is going to hit Kickstarter in February. So yeah, really excited about that. And we were running demos for Cosmic Conquest all weekend, and the people that played it were raving about it. It really is a good board game. Like if you're looking for, just like a skirmish multiplayer game that has good depth and all that, it's going to be awesome, and it's going to tie directly into the lore from the comic standpoint and the TCG standpoint, which we kind of bridged that connection. With starting with Cosmic Conquest. Now, set 5 comes out in March. What we also revealed in that presentation is that starting with set 5, we're going to have a promotional comic book that you can only get through game stores. And game stores will just get like 6 comic books with their orders. And it's like a promotional comic. It's about Haven and Mean Streak. We haven't really talked about the story too much, but it's post set 1. Or not set 1, post book 1, and the script is really good. The comic's going to be awesome, but that's an exclusive thing. Now, how that ties in moving forward post set 5 is with every core set, we're going to release comic books. So we'll do either 2 or 3 issues with those set releases. So when set 6 comes out, we'll have 2 issues that will release alongside that, and we're going to start to storytell from the comic book to the cards. And those 2 things are going to cross over really well in a clever way. And what we want to do is immerse people into the story through the cards, and then also have some like mystery of, if you're playing, like, where is this from? Where does it come from? What's the scenario? You can go to the comic and you'll have a better understanding of that. And then looking at sets 7 and 8, currently we're looking at 3 issues with each of those sets also. And sets 6, 7, and 8 are the cosmic block we're referring to. and it's all themed around cosmic conquest and the story setting. So the story is 100,000 years in the past. Been working with Al on that, and he presented something to me at the end of ClashCon, and man, I think everyone's gonna really love that. And what we're going to do is tie in the comic book storytelling, and it's going to tie in the novel. And we've known about it for a long time, but it's gonna really weave together in some clever ways. And we're just excited about that. So that was like the comic book update, the Cosmic Block update with like board game, comics, and the set blocks coming out and how it all kind of intermingle and be important. And then the other big thing that was announced was the PvE. The PvE experience is called Siege of the Forgotten. And it's going to be a 1 to 5 player experience where you're going to be taking on Lord Krung and the Discarded Army. And it is just a game mode. It's not a competitive game mode. It's a multiplayer, casual kitchen table game mode that if I'm at home by myself and I want to play Alpha Clash, I can, because I can play against Lord Krung myself and kind of follow the rules of how to autopilot that. Or you can team up with your friends and then take it on, and then kind of the final version of it would be someone would be the pilot of the boss deck, where now it's going to be multiple friends against one big bad, and having to pilot that. The goal of it is to be able to reach a broader audience, not just TCG players, or even competitive TCG players, but even more than that. Try to get people that just love tabletop games, or maybe some people that are looking for a new Alpha Clash experience, or just a new TCG experience that they don't have to go to, weekly like competitive events. Maybe they're not as competitive. So it really is an evolutionary product for Alpha Clash, and just I think the trading card game.
Yeah. People were super excited. It was cool to see the response there too. There was a big response. Maybe probably the second biggest response of the presentation was when that was announced. So that was big. And that's coming like May, June. And what we had told everyone is that Draftbox and Siege of the Forgotten may flip-flop. We're just kind of making sure that the manufacturing timelines and all that are kind of ironed out, but we'll announce more information on that stuff soon. But yeah, Draftbox 2 is coming in the summer. It's called Nexus of Power. And yeah, it's going to be an awesome curated experience. Like everyone that uses the Draftbox, that plays with it, it's such a great product. And Draftbox 2 is going to be that much better. It is curated. It's the first 5 sets. It really is going to be an awesome experience. So we're taking what we learned from the first one with a larger pool to pull from to really create that experience. And it's going to have a bunch of alternate arts in it. So, rest assured, there's going to be some really cool things to get in that. And there's going to be some Draftbox exclusive cards that you'll want too. So all that is in the pipeline. Now, the other thing that we announced and a lot of people were asking about, but we couldn't really share, is that in addition to the comic books that are going to release with sets, we are going to do a separate comic book project. We're bringing on an industry comic book writer that's very well known, very esteemed, has a lot of credentials, has written many Marvel, DC, many other comic books. And we're going to partner with him, and we're going to be doing a comic series together. And that's going to be roughly next summer. We haven't announced who yet, but it's coming. And we're really looking forward to sharing that detail, because part of that is we do want to tap into other audiences with the Alpha Clash universe, and we want to take the IP a step forward. That I think that's a part of the vision of Rising Empire Studios, is to make Alpha Clash an IP that people care about. Yeah, and he's a person. Yeah, you might, if you're just a casual fan of superheroes or whatever, you might not know his name. But if you are have one toe in the comic book world, you would know his name. And that's all we can tease for now. But the full update and press release will be coming out soon with that. But it is happening. It is moving forward. But we're just waiting for the official announcement.
Yep. And then lastly, it was we talked about the timeline of set 6 and 7, which is slated for August and November of next year. And then the second novel, there were so many people that were like, I mean, Al was an all-star this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
This past weekend. And then at one point we said, hey, raise of hands, who's read the novel? And like most of the room had raised their hand, and they were like,
yeah,
they were loving it. So they were really excited about the second novel coming. And then we touched briefly on organized play for 2025. We basically had said that there will be a few 2 Clash Ground events, and then we're looking at the Progenitor's Gambit and Harbinger's Ascension next year. Dates and locations are TBD right now, but we are working really quick to try to like finalize those, get the announcements out, and all that. And then we'll have an Awakening season where stores can host Awakening events from this period to this period, so that people can earn invites and other cool rewards, on the path to, victory on the circuit.
Right.
So that was pretty much what we covered in that presentation, spoilers and what's coming and, all that kind of stuff. But then the other, another big thing of the weekend, it was ClashCon, but it was Pro Tour. So Pro Tour was the Saturday, Sunday highlight, really. And like you said earlier, there were 66 different players, and I think we had 19 different contenders that were represented.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. And not only that, if someone was playing Genesis, the other person that they're playing had a completely different build.
A lot of different Genesis builds, yeah.
It was, it'd be like, how many different types of decks were there? I mean, it was too many to name, because
and then top 8 was 5 different contenders, which is also great. Moving into the finals, there was a really good mix. It ended up being Genesis versus Genesis in the finals, but I loved the spread that we had going into top 16, top 8. It was great.
And even then, the builds were different. So, looking at the top 8, we had 4 Genesis, we had 1 Krung, 1 Kagon, 1 Pestilence, 1 Machina in North America. And, the Genesis in the finals were different. I think Mark and Peters were more similar because they're teammates, but, the contenders and their decks were unique. So Jacob at the Columbus Clash Ground kind of made the Flare combo a thing. Mm-hmm. So, Jacob seems to have slotted himself as a combo player, which is cool because he comes up with these pretty genius deck builds. Well, here he showed up with a Kagan deck, and it was really Eternal Dragon focused. And in one game, I saw him swing twice with Eternal Dragon, and get that game win. So what he did is he got the Eternal Dragon out, and then he used attack, Sonoro, Awaken Breaker, Restand, attack, which was really wacky, high damage, kind of that one-turn kill mentality. But yeah, it was a combo deck, board control, accessory, searching, digging for that Dragon Helm.
It was interesting. Some of the Genesis rounds would literally take over an hour for one round because they were so slow, and but then there was times where it was I would turn away and blink, and then Jacob had already won.
yeah, it was just really fun to walk around and watch everyone. I think all the players were having a great time. The vibe, the community, and the atmosphere of the competition was that perfect mix of friendly but competitive. So Jacob had a unique deck. Lee had a Pestilence deck that was kind of a Pestilence War hybrid, where it was control aggro, but then could kind of turn it on turn 4 with Strifebringer, War the Second Horseman. That was pretty cool. And then some honorable mentions. We saw a Mean Streak boosted by Eric Bond. That was pretty unique. We saw Krung. That was, I think it was the 3rd seed going into the final round. I can't remember for sure, but ended up losing to Jacob with Kagan. But that was cool. There was Torque had some representation in this one. Didn't make top 8, but I think that was Lewis from Vegas. But yeah, looking at Peter's build versus Michael's build in the final, Peter's was a blue, green, white. So his was more ramp and accessory and board, control, where Michael's was just, blue, white, They and Michaels was a different take on it. So he ran control also, but like he had Mean Streak and Lynn and Clarity and Genesis like clash cards sprinkled in, used Deliverance and Victory Peak for like that removal piece, and then had like Mean Streak as his like big body on the field from the first clash kit, which was, we haven't seen that played in quite a while. Now what was unique is Peter's build was similar, not the exact same, but similar in the approach to the Asian Pro Tour champs build. So his name was Sam Parts. He won it in the Philippines, and yeah, he had the blue-green Genesis. So goal of that, they ramp with Haven. They use Shocking Revelation was a pretty important card for Genesis players, but just had accessory and board control, and then they put Magnate Lone Fighter down, which was like a big body for them. So what was cool is those two decks were similar. I'm sure that they played them a little different, but in Asia there were 49 players on the Pro Tour, and then let's see, there's one Genesis which won it. There were 3 Torques, 1 Kagan, 1 Krung, 1 Warcry, 1 Death. So what is that, six different contenders in the top 8 for Asia Pro Tour, and then 5 in North America. So yeah, just a representation of the decks that were played.
And it's a sign of a truly balanced game, which is I think it's a tip of the hat to our team, because I feel like whenever I see the stats from a lot of other big games right now, you see a ton of the same hero, champion, whatever commander. So I love seeing the balance both in North America and over in the Philippines.
Yeah, the dev team has done a really good job, the testing and design. And then we did on Saturday, it was Saturday night, there was like a lore and TCG design talk. So everyone in attendance just got to ask questions of like, well, how are you connecting the story to the TCG, and like, how are you designing? And like, they got to pick the brains of everyone. And I think it was like just really healthy of like, okay, so maybe you made this card, and like, what's your thought process behind this? And Jason and Quinn did an excellent job, like just delivering the vision and the plan for the TCG design. And then Al was there to just really tie it together with like the story. And, Al's just like a funny guy, so, can really lighten the room. But I can't say enough good things about ClashCon. And, I was just so thankful that everyone showed up, that they had a good time, that our helpers, everyone that made it happen, like Josiah and Quinn, that found the venue, did so many things that like no one would even know about, but like made the event happen. And then we had teammates flying in from all over. Like Mike did a great job with like the tournament organization and execution. I mean, at one point he was running 6 events at the same time. He was running an Awakening and I think it was the Awakening and like 5 side events, or it was like Pro Tour and 5 side. I can't, but I think it was on Friday.
It was a lot.
And I mean, like CJ and Bob helping out on just like the judging side. Like Ryo was an all-star. He was behind the curtain working the computer. Like you forgot Ryo was there because you just didn't see him because he was just back there.
Yeah, I feel bad. I hope he still had a good time. He was just just crushing it on the live stream, and same for our Dagan and those people that hopped in to commentate as well. That was a lot of work, and we appreciate you guys for putting in the hustle there. And we hope you still had a good weekend and got some good breaks in. It was a lot, but we appreciate it. And Brendan was doing a lot of the front booth and running the gumball machine, and so did your parents. So shout out to your parents.
So what was great about that is Brendan, he had to leave briefly on Saturday, and I said, Brendan, you need to coach up my parents, get them up to speed on everything. And ironically, when Brendan left, it was never more busy. Yeah. And my parents were just thrown in the fire, being refined by the fire, which was awesome to see. And then Becky came with Al, and she was just a great help too. So like in every way, we had just such a good time. And honestly, like 2025 ClashCon, now I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be bigger and better. And like, I don't want to downplay this one because it was awesome, but we learned so much, and we're going to carry that forward and make it even better.
For sure. Cool. Well, that was a lot. Do we want to say any other they spoiled a couple cards in that second session. Do we want to show the people?
Yeah, there was so then Yeah. So Alpha Aster, new contender on set 5. And then that night and the next night, we also covered that Major Dean is a contender. Alpha Hunters, black. Aster was blue. Paul the Waiter, red. Alpha Hunters. And then Avenging Guy, green. A rogue. So this is the first set. Not the first set, but this set is featured of like there's just no alphas, no alpha contenders, right? So it's rogues and progenitor, Clarity's Harbinger, rogue, and then alpha hunters. So yeah, pretty unique design. Spoiler season is coming up.
Yeah,
and that kicks off next Wednesday. So I think that's the 18th. Team Covenant is going to start that, and then we've got a pretty awesome lineup and some really cool cards and stuff to spoil. And we have articles coming. We're going to be talking about, the board game and Gambit and Siege of the Forgotten and Draft Box and sets 6 through 8 and the new comic books and like the lore support and just all that stuff. We're going to be putting out articles so that everyone's informed on all that stuff. And yeah, if you haven't done it yet, make sure that you pre-order set 5. So you don't go to a game store or you're just fans of Team Covenant. Like Team Covenant is a great outlet. You get the promo card, and with each box that you order, and
which have been really hot lately. I learned hanging around with Spartan over the weekend. That was probably the number one asked about card was the Death Team Covenant promo.
Yeah, the draft
followed closely by the other ones. So,
yeah.
We're not supposed to be hyping up any, anything, but those cards are very limited. And we talked to Zach. They legitimately just destroy them after things have been fulfilled. So they are very limited. So if you don't know where to get your boxes and you're interested in those promos, Team Covenant is a great option.
And if you're wondering how limited they are, I have 0 of them.
Yep.
So
I only have some because I traded some other stuff with Spartan. So
Wow.
yeah, I've also acquired none of them. Like I was just straight up asked Zach. I was like, "Hey, can you hook me up?" And he said, "Nope." So that's how serious they are about it.
Yeah. So we've got all that. So pre-orders, Team Covenant, but also make sure that your game store is putting in their pre-order. I know it's a busy time of season. People will forget, get sidetracked. There's just so much going on because the pre-order window for game stores closes on January 7th.
Yeah.
So don't hesitate. Make sure you get to your game store, get those orders in because I know set 4 had moved quickly. And what we want to avoid is that we, are kind of starved at the LGS level when there's an appetite for it. So make sure that the stores let their distributors know what the appetite is up front for it. So
for sure. Cool. Oh, last thing, bring back Creator of the Month. We're gonna get that going again. I had a little like 7 or 8 person little round table at ClashCon, just trying to give tips and tricks to content creators, people that want to make videos about Alpha Clash. So that was very nice. So hopefully we see some more in the world of Alpha Clash content creation. And if you ever have any questions, feel free to shoot us a message. I'm typically the one in the DMs on the Alpha Clash account. So if you ever have any questions or want to shoot me any ideas, I'm happy to help out where I can. But as we've said before, this little award is not about views or success or followers on social media, but it's more about the passion about creating content. And if you want to win this little thing that we're going to try to get back to doing at least once a month here on Through the Portal, just post on social media, show your love for this game and help spread the word of Alpha Clash. And this month we're giving it to Just One Pack, who came to ClashCon all the way from Denmark. That's not why he's getting this award, but that's just a side fact, because he has been putting out lots of Alpha Clash content. Be sure to check him out if you haven't yet. And yeah, that's our winner. So he'll get a little promo package that we'll get him out, get shipped out to him.
Awesome.
So
well deserved.
For sure. Other than that, is that everything? Do we hit all of our points?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Cool. Thank you guys. Subscribe if you haven't yet. We will have Through the Portals coming out at least once a month. We'll see you next time. Bye.